If you're tired of juggling a cramped chair, a wobbly walker, or a tiny power scooter that can't handle the grocery run to the corner store, you're looking for something that just works, reliable, easy to live with, and worth every penny you spend. The reality is, most mobility scooters on the market either promise a mountain climbing adventure you'll never need, or they're built for a single person at a time, leaving you with a heavy lift that still feels like a toy. That's the hesitation I hear from a lot of buyers. Will this actually handle my daily routes, my weight, and still be simple enough for my grandparents to use? The answer isn't just in the spec sheet, it's in how the machine feels once you roll it out of the box and onto the sidewalk, the curb, or the uneven path to the community garden. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's talk about the Dvsripa mobility scooter and why it might be the right fit or why you might keep looking. First off, its 800-watt motor and a 500-pound weight capacity are the headline numbers that catch the eye. In plain language, that means you can bring a couple of shopping bags, a small pet, or even a lightweight wheelchair up onto the seat without worrying about the scooter giving out. The 5-cell, 60-volt, 20-amp-hour battery pack is generous enough to let you cruise for several hours before you have to plug it back in, which is a solid improvement over many entry-level models that barely make it a mile or two before the battery warning lit up. Who should consider the Dvsripa? If you're a senior or adult who weighs close to the 250-pound mark, or if you regularly need to transport a companion or cargo, this scooter's payload is a real advantage. The four-wheel setup with 16-inch tires and rear shock absorbers also helps smooth out those cracked sidewalks and the occasional pothole you'll encounter in a typical neighborhood. I've seen people use similar setups for a quick trip to the pharmacy, a trip to the park, and even for longer outings like a day at the community center where the parking lot is a decent walk away from the entrance. The scooter holds its ground on gentle hills without the motor screaming for air, which is a common frustration with underpowered units. On the flip side, if you're a lighter individual who only needs a short-range commuter for flat terrain, you'll probably find the Dvsripa a bit overkill. It's heavier out of the box, something you'll notice when you try to lift it into a trunk or onto a van. The battery packs, while robust, are also bulky. Swapping them out for a quick charge isn't as seamless as a single-cell lithium pack you might see on compact models. That means you'll need to plan your charging routine a bit more deliberately. For someone living in a small apartment with limited storage, finding a corner for this larger chassis can be a hassle. One practical strength that really shines is the ride comfort. The rear suspension isn't just a marketing line. When you actually sit on the seat and push the throttle through a residential street with uneven paving, the scooter absorbs the bumps in a way that keeps you from feeling every lump. This translates to less fatigue on longer trips and makes the scooter feel more like a car than a traditional power chair. The seat itself is padded and positioned at a height that allows easy foot placement on the footboard, which is important for seniors who may have limited flexibility. Now let's talk about the hidden trade-offs. The Dvsripa's battery life, while impressive on paper, does degrade faster if you're constantly climbing steep inclines or carrying loads near the maximum capacity. In real life, a family that uses the scooter for a mix of flat grocery trips and occasional hill climbs will see the range shrink from about 15 miles down to roughly 10 miles after a few months of heavy use. That's not a defect, but it's something you need to factor into your daily routine, especially if you rely on the scooter for errands that require a return trip without an easy place to recharge. Another practical weakness lies in the steering. The scooter uses a traditional tiller that can feel a bit stiff at first, especially if you've only ever handled a three-wheel model with a lightweight handle. It takes a couple of minutes of practice to find the sweet spot where the turning radius feels natural, and that learning curve could be a turnoff for someone who expects an instant, scooter-like response. Once you get past that initial adjustment, the steering is predictable and stable, particularly at lower speeds. Maintenance is something I've heard new owners worry about. The Dvsripa comes with a fairly comprehensive manual, but the real-world test is that you'll need to check tire pressure regularly, just like any vehicle with sizable tires. The 16-inch tires are puncture-resistant, but not immune, and a flat in the middle of a residential block can be inconvenient if you